Everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the East Central and South Africa Microsoft Excel group hosted by Crisp Excel Training and Consulting. We are corporate and individual trainers and also consultants on data management and analytics. Our partners in Kenya and outside Kenya. Today we are excited to have the Maestro himself, Carlos Barbosa, data consultant and Microsoft MVP, areas of expertise, data modeling, corporate training, data visualization. Um, Here is his social media. You can follow him on LinkedIn. I'll set the social media link. YouTube, awesome channel. And for this session to make a lot of sense, I would urge you that you go and watch this session that he had on practical charts with Nick. It's an eye-opening conversation. So the topic of today is Excel charts with dynamic arrays. So welcome, Carlos.
Thank you, Crispo. Thank you. I'll begin I'll start sharing my screen and we can roll in. Okay. Basically, what you're about to see is what I want to show you is the use of the new Excel, the modern Excel. Now Excel is not the same as before. Now things have been simplified. One of them is being spill ranges, okay? Which is this. Basically, I can tell sequence, a new function, okay? So this is modern Excel. And then on this sequence, and maybe let me just zoom in, I can just tell 10. And once I do enter, I get a spill, a drop down, or like, a bungee jump, down. It's just 10 rows. But that formula or is living in one cell on that one, okay? But because of this simple, maybe, logic, this allows us to sort of, let me admit that person. Okay. This allows us to really take advantage and combine that spilling or elasticity, it's elastic, because I can now say and just give me maybe 3, now it's going to be reduced, okay? That same range, okay, now I can refer to it with a hashtag. And you saw as soon as I put the hash, look, the range automatically expanded. It was elastic, okay? And because of that simple logic, that could make Excel charts to be dynamic. And that's why Excel charts with dynamic arrays. Now, I do want to step back and we're gonna see what we can do with this small data set, okay? Look at this. We can see the numbers, right? But do we see something? Can we perceive something here, yes, we can maybe see that this, there's kind of like a dip visually, but then you look at this number and this number is not below this one and it's not above this one, but you have to scan the numbers, okay? This is the beauty of data visualizations, is that we can see a bit of the shape of these numbers, okay? The form of them with a line chart. And I wanted to start with just, you will see how we're going to get crafty with formulas, but just with that small data set. And I wanted to give some credit to my friend right here, Nestor, because when I was working in this company, Nestor was kind of the one who got me hooked with array formulas. He developed some crazy financial reports that I'm still like are a state of the art. And when he was like, teaching me some array formulas, he always talked about the mini model, saying, okay, I'm about to show you something complex, but let's just do it in a mini model. Let's just do a small, tiny data set, and then you can understand the logic. Once you understand the logic, it applies to a small data set, medium size, intermediate size, or big size. It doesn't matter. You need to just solidify the sort of the logic in a mini model. And because of that, I wanted to just say with this small tiny data set right here. So let's just zoom in. And the first thing that we need to do that works very great with spill ranges is tables. So the first thing is that we want to select all this, Control T to bring tables, okay, to life, and then click OK. Then maybe we can switch this formatting in table design right here and click on this type of gray. Then we can add a bit of margin, just margin on top and margin on this side. But sometimes you get this. In case you do, I think my trick was you do again. Oh, no, it still does it. I forgot the trick. Sorry for that. But there's a trick, a bit of a trick that you get you can add a column. Oh, I know how it is. Let's just first like this. Oh, okay. Once you have the table but no margin on top, and if you press Control column and then Control plus sign, oh, it still does it. Okay, my bad. Okay, my bad there. We messed up. But I just adding a margin. I'll get back to you, Crispo, in the community with this one because there is I forgot the combination just to add a column, but it doesn't hide it. It just add it to the left. I'm just adding a bit of margin so things looked a little bit less tight. Okay. So the next thing is that we could actually just grab this, okay, and I'll show you one cool trick, which is Control Q. Control Q, we get that pop-up window, and if we go, right now we go and say charts, and then tab line, we get a line chart real quick with just Control Q, Q for quest. So this is cool because now I want to save that chart, okay, and maybe I'm just gonna put it underneath right here. And we're gonna go compare with what we can do with the Excel table versus what we can do it or how we can enhance it with spill ranges and dynamic arrays and a little bit of other aesthetic touches. So here now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a cool function. It's a new function, take. Okay. Basically, this is modern Excel. This is new functions. I hope all of you that are watching have the Office 365 installed. And I'm gonna tell it, hey, look, take, and I like the name, take from this array, and then comma, and actually give me the last row. So we use a -5. And there we go. Look at this. From that array is telling me, give me the last 5 rows, boom. Okay. And now to this, we need to add a more legible name, 01 data. Okay. And we have that. Checking out here my notes. And this is the cool thing because I can now maybe potentially put this -5 here and then refer it to that cell over here. Maybe just put this -5 for now here because sometimes this happens. And then we can refer it to that cell, okay? And then I can go and say, well, give me the -10 or give me -3. And you see the spilling down? That's a beauty. And if this doesn't excite you, you have no soul, no emotions. Sorry. This is beautiful because we can now control that cell, and that cell controls this spilling. Now comes, and now we can again, now we do need to do something here because I believe, yep, we can go ahead and plot this. Control Q, okay, do an Excel chart, tab, and we plot a line there, and we have it right there. There we go. Let me just maybe back up on Zoom, hide this a bit more. This one right here. Okay, and now we have the same line, except look at this. Look at this. -3, Control Enter. Oof. -10. Oh. And then -15, which is a complete data set. Yeah. So we see that the chart is elastic, I'm controlling it. But I want to get more crafty. I want to be more enhanced. I want to say, can we maybe retouch it and say, give me a marker for the last point and the beginning point and this point. So I'm pointing to these two. So basically to this point and this point. Okay, I want 2 dots, one at the beginning and one at the end. Okay, we can. But how can we do it when we're working with a spill range, which is 15 rows down and 2 columns? So we'll do it with the let function. For this, we need to go and say let, and let me just maybe here because I don't want to mess up on the order of things. There we go, so I can guide myself. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is actually to say the years, okay, comma, or actually just follow here the array. I'm just gonna put it array index, my good friend index, from this array. And look, as soon as I reference that cell and I put the hash, boom, and it just expanded. Maybe the colors are not matching, and this is a little bit of a bug. You know, it should be blue with this blue right here, you know, or actually this red with this red right here. This one I'm referring to. This to this should be also the same color. That G3 hash should be in red, but it's not. Both. And then I tell a comma. Now I don't want I want all the rows, but I actually want the first column. And there we go. And I get 1. And then I can do comma, and then with the let function, I just type array. And then close that. And now I get just one array from this 2-column, 15 rows array, okay? This is good because now I can go and say, well, I want the min of array. And I close parentheses, comma, all enter. Give me another one, max, comma, max of the array. And as you can see, I'm not repeating stuff. I'm actually avoiding redundancy. And this is the modern Excel. This is why we need to just, you know, slap ourselves, you know, a couple of times and then just say, and that's it. I need to embrace modern Excel. I need to just say, I need to look forward, you know, because really Excel is just getting more powerful, and it's getting more haters too. So the other thing that we got to do now is just we can bring a cool function, okay, that I like, if, and I can say, hey, look, if in parentheses, I need to do two tests. And for this, the first thing is that if array, okay, equals to the min, and plus sign, also upper parenthesis, array equals max, and close parentheses, and just in case, there's like array equals min in parentheses, plus sign, array equals max in parentheses. That just means that I'm doing an OR. That little symbol right there, right here, is an OR for Boolean logic, okay? Then I'm gonna tell you if those two are equal, actually give me array. If not, bring me another cool function that I love, NA. I love NA. I love NA. And then NA is gonna plot those errors that we see when we work with VLOOKUP. Yeah, that's the one. But for charts, it's just perfect. It's a good combination. And then I close parenthesis. I mean close comma, and I need to say, yeah, I need to. Sorry, that was extra, not needed. And I think that's it. And we need one more parenthesis. And Control Enter. What did I miss? Yeah, NA equals max, min, max, array. What am I missing? Array. Feel free to jump in, Crispo, if you see the arrow, okay? But I don't know why I'm messing up. Everything happens live. I practiced this 3 times, and everything happens always live. But so max, min, that's good. Array, that's well written too. NA, yeah. And this close the if, this close the let. And are we in the same position? Yeah, we are. Index. Let me just check on that.
That's where
okay,
it's
so
bringing the
bringing
arrow.
the arrow, but it is written on my other formula here the same way. Index I3 comma 1 min. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is good. This is good. This is phenomenal. Yeah, we're not perfect. We're not perfect human beings. This is the thing. Look at that. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't want to zoom in because maybe I'll mess up. But look, if you can see, there's a space, okay, in between. Okay, I got two spacey. There's a main in between the parentheses and the name of the function. Okay, that is causing my mistake. So let me now cancel that and now close that space and close this space for Max. Okay, so this is good because now I can tell you at the same time, then what you saw me is writing a formula down as I go. And that's because I already been adjust to this of control all enter. All enter spacebar, where I like to write the formulas to be legible since the beginning, since I start writing them. For me, it's more easy to read it like this. And also using let allows me to sort of define variables and reduce those variables inside a further or upcoming formula. In this case, with the if. And now if I press enter, see? Ooh, yeah. This is good. Yeah, this is good. Now we got the 2000 and the 2014. Perfect. But, it's not what I need. It's actually this, the second column. Okay. So then what we can do is, after that comma of this comma of the third variable, all enter, spacebar, all the way up to here. And now we tell it values, comma, and now I can do a little bit of, I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm just being efficient. I'm just going to highlight this, copy it, that index, and I'm just going to switch that 1 to be a 2. Then I add a comma here, and this is all surgical, And then we're going to replace the array with values. And then all enter. And there we go. Now we have this one, okay? How we doing? Okay, so one thing, because once I do that, you can see the white space in between. This is a cool trick that I never seen being documented, or I never seen somebody talk about it. And please don't give me the credit. I just came across it while I play around with Excel and that. So if you color the color of the cell to be yellow, for example, and you open that formula again, look at that. Woohoo. Okay, that's awesome. Look, the area of the cell just expanded to cover the formula. But we don't want to do that yellow. Of course, if you like yellow, good. But you want to do a light gray, and then look at that. The gray, it's still, not too colorful, but in the same time, it's still, the contrast of a gray on the back with the color of the parentheses of the functions and on the references is, it's still visible. So just look for a color that, works, okay? And that it helps you to see the formula clearly. And as soon as we do that, then we also add another one here, so that way you can see the background of that is still visible. How are we doing? Any questions up to now, Crispo? Just any questions or comments?
Victor Momo is saying that Carlos is human after all. Yeah, he's here. You never thought that you are human.
Let me tell something to Victor Momo. AI is not taking over me. It's not. I'm gonna remain human. Okay. So we're good. We're doing good. So now the thing is, okay, you saw that I just put a chart with this array, okay, from these two. I'm connecting a 2-column, 15 rows array to this chart. But now that I added this one right here, how do I include that so it still maintains everything to be together? So here is where we bring a good function, hstack, okay? And hstack, we can combine this one with this one, okay? Hstack for horizontal, okay? H for horizontal, and we combine those two, and now enter, and now I have everything already here. Let's back up on Zoom. Maybe close my ribbon. And now I can delete this chart again, because now I'm going to start from here, Control Q, charts, tab. Yep, tab. And now I have this. Yes, this doesn't look good. What is this? Don't worry. We're going to leave it up to this point, and we're going to come back and retouch it. Okay, perfect. But now, remember this part right here? This is the part that we needed to sort of say to make it dynamic. Now, if I put a -5 and maybe let's zoom in, you see the chart is changing. Okay, but how do I bring something that allows me to sort of switch the number, because that is telling me 5, but actually I want maybe just -10 again. Okay, so what we can do is we can bring an array, okay, which is can be in, and we'll do another function, the brother or sister of h stack, which is v stack vertical, okay, v for vertical. And then here I'll enter, and now I open this and I call a slicer. Yep, slicer, comma, I'll enter spacebar, and then I go sequence, okay? But I want a sequence of numbers based on the data. So here is now I go count A of this column and close the count A, close the sequence, close the B stack, enter. And now look at that. I just recreated an array with a header. Why? Because now, let me just double check here, because that's important for me. Yeah, array for a slicer. Now we're gonna define name that slicer. So we go and do Control F3, or depending if you're in a laptop, it will be Control FN F3, and then here, what's that? Array for a slicer. Oh, okay. Let's do something here. This shouldn't be, that shouldn't be in there. Okay. We're gonna recreate all of this. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So close. So now we're gonna recreate this, because once we define it, give it a define name, open that, and then we're gonna give it a underscore, and let me zoom in, underscore 02, array for a slicer. Okay. You can see that I'm enumerating my work. I do that because it's easier for me to then debug to find which is missing, like it's on step 2 and step 1 or step 59, okay, or formula 60. I know where to debug. It's faster for me to remember a number than a name. And then what we need to do after this is we just need to put the hash at the end and click OK. And now let's just back up. And now that we have that, now we can go and say insert a pivot table, and we can link a pivot table to a spill range. Yes. And now we delete all that. Let's zoom in. Okay. And now I'm gonna do F3 or FN F3 if you're in a laptop. And now you can see my array is there, and I'm gonna click it. Okay. And why am I doing all this? What's the logic of all this? Is that if my data grows, my spill range will adapt, and then my pivot table with just a basic refresh will adapt with the new items, the new data, and all of that. So this is beautiful. We're making everything to be robust, to be integrated. Remove this, click OK, and step back. I forgot to put it in the other side, but let's just open it. Let's grab the pivot table here and go to that page. Place it for the meantime right here. Okay, and delete this sheet, not needed. And just in case, if you see my field list floating around, usually it's in the classical way, it's like this. But usually I tell people, hey, you can undock it, and then what you need to do is just to left click on right there where it says pivot table, and when you take it out, and then you can expand it, and it can live on top of the ribbon. So look, you can make it really tall, as tall as the Excel interface. And then on this little nice bolt, I guess, you can switch this outlook. And so I'm always looking at the side by side. So it's easy for me to see, the quadrants on one side and then the fields on this side. What do we do here? Well, we just need to bring slicer and drop it on rows, and that's it. But you saw the columns got shifted and all that. Don't worry. Close this. Click here on this pivot table. Right click and pivot table options. Step back, and let's give it a name, PT1. And then here, this evil option is always active. Out of it with column with on update. Yeah, deactivate this, okay? Yes. And then activate this, but it's okay for now, not for this example. For arrows, show like blank. But it doesn't matter for this case. But just always deactivate this because it's a bit annoying that it just auto-fits your column. So click OK, step back, and now on design, we want to go here, and we want to activate this style light, and then on report layout, we want to go show tabular form. As soon as we do that, okay, perfect. Let's just put a number here, whatever number, like just do 5, okay, and right click, remove grand total on this. Perfect. And yes, okay. So this is gonna screw up our, well, let's just maybe put it right here underneath. Yep, underneath, okay. And now I'm gonna link this. I'm gonna put for now -1 times whatever value is here. Enter, okay. And now what I can do is with the slicer right here on this small pivot table, right click on pivot table. Right click, field list, and then you can add a slicer like this. Right click on that field, add a slicer. And then once you have that, look at this. Let me step back a bit. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Oh, a slicer is now controlling what I want to see. Show me the last 10 values. There you go. Show me the maybe 9 values. So 2014 to 2016, or show me actually everything. 15, okay. Or maybe just show me the last 3 years, okay. Or the last 5 or 4. You can see. But see, this is the beauty of a modern Excel. You can see a slicer, but on the back, this part, spilling as what is commanded or whatever is referenced here. And now what I also need is, well, don't show me the last years, also show me the first year. Okay, so for that, we want to remove this slicer for the meantime. And here, maybe what I'm gonna do is actually add a couple of rows here. I don't think that should, that did damage the chart, it did. And let's delete the chart again, no worries. And bring this slicer to be on top. We'll get rid of it later. And then what I'm gonna do is another array, okay? Another kind of array that is not very common, but if I know that this array is never gonna change, its items are never gonna change, its structure will not vary, then we can just write it like this. Open bracket, space for the meantime. In quotes, we're gonna put type, and then semicolon, and then type in quotes again, and then we're gonna do first double quotes, semicolon, and then open quotes again, and last, and double quotes, and then we curly brackets. We do the closing curly bracket. So now with that, I'm also doing an array, and as soon as I do Control Enter or Enter, it will spill. There we go. See? Now it deleted the spaces. The only bad thing about it. That's why I wanted to put the spaces at the beginning so you see. But you see here now I have an array built with curly brackets. Not very common, but kind of useful in case you have a small array that will never change and that you can input onto your formulas. How we doing? And let me just double check here that that array for slicer, and then type. Yeah, we can do that in another order. So now the other thing is that we need to reference that just in case, because we also want to link it to the pivot table just in case if things change, we just change them there and update the pivot table. So we have to start thinking about a little bit of in this sort of mindset, of building things that are integrated, okay? And the bridge for that is actually defining names on your workbook, on your work. All right, so for this is 03, and then we're gonna do type. And maybe zoom in, type. And then here we're gonna do the hash and click OK. And now go back. There we go. And then close. But What I'm gonna do is a little small trick here. I'm just gonna copy this pivot table, okay? And you have to copy that tiny table without slicers. You cannot do it with slicers on, okay? And now what I'm gonna tell on that pivot table is just re-reference the source, delete that, and then F3, and then type, click OK. And it maintains all the formatting and aesthetics that I did. So now click here and do field list, and now type, we throw it on rows. And there we go. See, it's maintaining that. But now I'm gonna select last, okay? And now I'm gonna put that last right next to right here, maybe, okay? And I believe once we have that, yeah, there we go. So now on this one, on this formula, maybe we can build it here on the side. If okay equals on this cell right here first, then I want for this number right here, else just multiply -1 times that cell. So in order to convert that 4 to be a -4. And that's it. As soon as I have that and I switch this to be first, I get a 4. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this towards this, and that formula is gonna change. Now it's showing me 2000 to 2003, which matches with the first part of your table right here. How's everything going, Crispo? Any comments? Any questions?
Yes, there's a question by somebody called, I think, Coleman. He's asking that with array functions like fstack or filter, is there any possibility of adding a dynamic line at the bottom giving total, then adding the numbers in the column with the data?
Yes, I'm thinking the first thing. Yeah, I'm thinking the first thing is he's asking, well, pivot by, I guess, or group by, right? They give you can add the total. Also with the lambda, and also combining, with the A stack or B stack, depending where you want the total to be placed. So it gets intricate, but it is possible. Yes, it is possible. It just depends what are the operations before the subtotal, and that's it. But I think with group by, I haven't played too much with pivot, the new function pivot. And let me see if I have it here. No, I still don't have pivot on this laptop. And how about group? Group by? Yeah, I still don't have group by either. But on my other laptop, where it's more of a testing ground, I have insider beta channel there. I do have it. So yes, that is possible. It is possible without pivot or group by, but it's really more cumbersome. And I would recommend to check it out with Excel is Fun YouTube channel. He does have a couple of examples where the formula is lengthy, but you can get it, and lengthy and a bit complex, but you can get it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now that we have this and that, then we need to go and say, well, you know what? Let me actually color this first cell to this, and color this cell as well. So everything again, just so everything is color. As you can see how the color of the cell expanded to cover the whole formula. Perfect. Now go to the pivot table. I just want to check. There we go. Yep, we did that. Yep. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Perfect. So we just need to add the field list. And another way to do it too is to click on the pivot table, click on pivot table analyze, and you say insert slicer. Maybe it could be faster like this. Okay, add the slicer. Boom, perfect. And then go to the other pivot table, which we still haven't changed the name. You can see on top right there it says pivot table 8. Yeah, don't do something more PT2. Yes, pivot table 2 or something that is more, I guess, more addressed. Don't leave it so by Excel by Excel's defaults. And click on that pivot table. Go to pivot table analyze, insert slicer, type, Click OK. And now look at this. Look at that. So my slicers are controlling my spill ranges. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, for me it is. I mean, ever since I started working with Excel and pivot charts, it allowed me to some sort of flexibility to have dynamic charts, and that's my background, and sort of my appreciation to that. Okay, so now we want to do Control Q. We get to this array, the one with the hashtag, and I believe yes, we go right there and Control Q, and we get that pop-up window. Right arrow keystroke tab to get the line, and we have our line right here. And let's just step back a bit, accommodate things a bit, just put it right here, and do the slicer. We can just maybe switch it to be boom, 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 boom. Actually, let's just expand it to be as lengthy as the chart. See if we can cover this the bottom part of it. Oh, not that. There we go. Yep, we got 15 rows. Perfect. We put it here underneath. Oh, then we can make the chart bigger. There we go. And close this and put this one right here. And that one could be just 2 columns. Perfect. And adjust this, the size of this. Sorry for all this. It's sometimes just better to make it. Okay. So now that that's underneath, look at that. Now we can control and say, give me the last 10 years of data. Okay. Or last 5. We're talking about 5. Managers are like that. In a board meeting, they're switching things. Maybe they're discarding the years of the pandemic. Just give me the last 3. Okay, or actually include the pandemic because it just matters. We need to add that. That's part of reality. Give me the last 6 years. Okay. Or give me the last 10 years before the pandemic. Okay. How was things before that? So to enrich the context of what they're talking about, what are they addressing? Now we need to make that chart ready. We cannot leave it like that. And just in case, this line right here, the orange one is actually referring to the first and last marker. Okay. And that's why it's showing you a straight line, because it's connecting those 2 dots that are plotted right here and right here. And the NAs are not. We don't want those. Okay. How are we doing there? Haystack. Reference haystack. Okay, so one last thing is once we add slicers right here, you can see that they come generically like that. So the other thing that I like to do is as I build things up, I try to also enumerate my slicers and say, well, let's call this one, I think it is 04 slicer, slicer. And then for the slicer type, it's gonna be 05. 05 a slicer type, or type slicer. Yep, there we go. So you can see everything is enumerated. This I can tell you also it's a bit of consulting work, because it's good practice for consulting to enumerate stuff, to really document as you go. Don't leave documentation at the end because you're not gonna do it. That I know. So perfect. Wanted to share that good practice for you guys. So okay, perfect. We have all this, and that was important. And also, I need to reference this array right here. Okay, the hashtag, and bring back the name manager. And now I'm gonna say new, and 606 0 values, just like that, values. And then right here, let's zoom in, do the hash. Okay, so that hash, simple hash, is referring to the whole spill range of 3 columns and about 10 rows. Click OK, and click close, step back. And now here again, we go to the chart, click data, and actually, well, in this case, we don't have to reference, because here's the trick, and this is a bit of a controversy. Because I built the chart grabbing the whole array, okay? And when I mean the whole array, because everything, there's nothing in between. There's no space column in between. Everything is all integrated into one array, which is 3 columns and 10 rows, and build the chart. Then you don't need to reference your spill ranges that will go into the chart, because everything is put together on the arrays. But just in case, if you do have things separated, like for example, the years is one array, and then the values is another array, and this one is another array, then the best practice for you will be to reference those individually arrays and then reference them on the chart to their corresponding references. And I'll tell you this because when you start to get with more sophisticated and charts, things are there's gonna be operations in between, and you don't want to plot the operations. You just want to plot the in between results, and those are gonna be non-adjacent. They're not gonna be next to each other. So that's why you want to put things and reference those intermediate operations, and then if they're gonna be plotted, then first reference them, or actually define their name, define the spill range, and then you reference them to the chart. Okay. Perfect. So here it won't be necessary, but I still wanted to, for good practice, I'll show you in a little bit an example where actually things are not adjacent. They're not all together in one place, and they're better to be referenced in that way. All right. Look at this. We just remember this chart, okay? Just remember this chart, and you're going to see how we're going to change its look to look more pro, more like McKinsey, Bain, BCG, all these consulting companies that have good aesthetics, or even the newspapers, The Economist, the Financial Times, the New York Times, okay? So first thing is that we want to address the orange line, okay? And once we click on the orange line, check it out. I'm seeing like this dot right here being highlighted, and also on the other end. Click escape, click OK, and now I do Control 1, and I get this pop-up window that, just in case, you may have it like that classically, but you can like left click with the mouse on top where it says Format Data Series, and you can just undock that, and just, it could be on top, it could be on top, it could be bigger, because there's so many options. Look, there's way options. Now I'm going to click on the right here on the format option. Look at all the options that I can do, and do marker options, built in. We want like a circle size 7. We want a border line, a solid line, to be white. You'll see in a little bit why. Fill of the marker, okay? We want it to be solid fill, and then, yep, the same color as that, of the blue. All right, and then we click on the line of that series, and we tell it to be no line. And as soon as we do that, look at that. Now we have a dot at the end, at the beginning. Now we can click on the line, but the line of the one that does have the values, Control 1, format, go to solid line. Actually, why did it delete it? It should have, but press blue again. Okay, and now on the width, let's zoom in so you can tell the difference. We just gotta make it a bit thinner. Maybe let's go up to 1.5, okay? And then the transparency, I also wanna leave it to be 50% for now. Or maybe, let's do 30, okay, 30, perfect. And now step back and look how it starts to look, okay? Now we start to see, the beginning and end. Okay, and then what happened in between? We started to sort of emphasize things, It's a little bit like when we go to the theater. I don't know if you go to the theater, you see this when you're in the theater, they're putting the main actor, and then somebody else came, and then they show this. It controls your eye vision, tells you where to look at. Here you're looking at the beginning and end, where we were, where we now. Okay, now click on the axis, click there, Control 1. And now I learned something cool yesterday. I'm taking Leila Gorani's new course, Business Charts. And somebody commented that you can double click a chart element and it's the same as Control 1. Just blew my mind. Can't remember the name of the person. If I can find it real quick, I'll let you guys know. Double click on the chart element and look at that. That's awesome. I didn't, never noticed that. So double click on the chart element, double click, and it just pops up. Okay, it's the same thing or equivalent to Control 1. So now we close the axis option, open labels. Next to axis, we want it low, actually high. And now high because the last values are what matters the most usually for business managers. They want to know sort of, where we at more than where we were, so that way we can look forward, take action. So that's why I'm putting the axis there. And you can see this a common practice from The Economist, Financial Times, and other newspapers to put the axis at the end. I think it's a great touch, in my opinion. Then click on the grid lines. Those grid lines are a little bit too strong. So right click. Once you click on the grid lines again, with left click and then right click, outline, and then you touch it right here with this gray. Perfect. And now we go to this plus button and we say we want the grid lines also vertically. Perfect. And click on the vertical grid lines, right click, outline, and tell it to be this light gray as well. Click on the bottom x-axis, okay? Right click, outline. You want a little bit of a darker gray there. And then double click on this. And we say on axis option, we collapse that on tick marks. We go to major type and we go to outside. But then we want the years to be underneath the tick marks. Okay, axis options, and then we tell it to be on tick mark. And there we go. There we go. Look at that. How is that looking? Look how it was before, I mean, we have it right here. Look at that. We just a couple of clicks and we just enhancing it to look pro level, This will be noticed. I'm telling you, this will be noticed and it will be appreciated also as well, okay? We can also click on the chart and double click on that and we get pop up that. And there's a cool feature, fill and border on border right here that says rounded corner. If we click that, look at that. Do you notice that? Do you notice this right here? So not really visible. Let me click outside and let's zoom in. Look at the corners of the chart. They're rounded. Okay. So cool trick there. Now click on the plot area, right click, and then the fill, we want a light gray. For this, you're gonna start playing with your criteria, your vision to say, I just want something light, but I still want to see the grid lines because the grid line helps me to sort of say, think of it as a ruler or think of it as an old butler, invisible but efficient. So in the sense, like I can read in 2010, oh, we were at 2000. There you go. It just helps, in case you can't put labels. If you need to put labels, then you could put a label, and you also help the audience to read it. But sometimes the grid lines on the back, if it's not too pronounced, it can help you to find the position and then read the axis and say, okay, I can estimate with maybe 99 or 95 or 99% accuracy that the number that I'm reading on this chart is about that number. Okay, perfect. What else we have here? Yep. The thing I don't use, this is another cool trick. The chart title, I don't use it that much for the chart title. I use it as an axis title. So here I'm gonna do sales, $sign. Click there. But actually what I'm gonna do, click on the whole chart, go to home, and switch this to be Arial. I like Arial. It's boring. But yeah, at least I'm not gonna have to worry of that. If I send this to another person that doesn't have a nice, even nicer, like Helvetica font type, if they don't have it, then it just messes up, the whole font type. It just adapts to whatever their default system has, and so Arial is universal. So I stuck with that. Sorry for that rant. There we go. So we put the access title there so we can tell what these numbers are about. This is important. This is important. This is key. You need to put it what it is. And you can tell that I also put it in this way. Maybe I can put it a little bit more aligned to the axis so people can know. Maybe what I want to do is look at that. Let's talk about a little bit of design. Too tight against to the border of the chart. Let's give it some space, So let's just make this right here. And now we put this on top of right here. There we go. Step back. And then I guess you can remove the border of the plot area, plot and no outline. And now let's remove those grid lines. And look at this. Now we're having a more dedicated area for the chart, okay? And then, of course, we can grow up and grab a chart title. But here, I'm just gonna put total sales by year. And that's it, something very generic. This can get wild. This can get crafty even more with a dynamic title. But because of the time being, I want to be respectful. So let's just make it a little bit bigger. And then we can maybe make it a bit blue, the same blue as the color chart, okay? Total sales by year, something like this, okay? And pretty much you have it right there. I mean, this is look good. Oh, the legend, you don't need the legend, so take that out. Perfect. And maybe you can make this a bit taller. And then now let's see. Show me the last 5 years. Show me the last 3 years. Show me the last 12 years. And actually, no. Show me the first 5 years. 5 and first. There we go. Look at that. I love how it just expands and the axis automatically adapts. Again, if this doesn't excite you, you have no soul. You need to, yeah. You need to go to the psychologist. No, I'm just kidding. First, and then, yeah. But we need to do something else. I mean, look at those slicers. No, we cannot allow the Excel defaults to take in charge. The same way as AI, we cannot allow AI to take over our lives and souls. We need to be in control. Okay, so we click on the slicer and then click there on the slicer. And then already had a custom one place, but let's see that maybe we want to match it with the color of the chart. So let's grab this blue right here and just say duplicate. And we're gonna sell it custom 2. Yeah, just put a custom 2 and click OK, just in case. And now we're gonna click to custom 2 again, just to make sure things are addressed, and right click on that one and say modify. And here's the thing, this is the cool things that you have to do. I'm thinking of coming up with a blog post on this, okay? But if you want to go ahead and make your own tutorial, do it. No worries. So what you gotta do is this. You go to whole slicer, maybe right there on the whole slicer, first section, format, and you format it to be Arial. Here, unfortunately, you have to look at it like that, Arial, and then size 8, and then border. You want to take out those borders. No. And then step back and fill, nothing. You leave it like that. Click OK. And then go to header, format, go to border, and go right there and say you want to remove none. Nothing. And then click OK. And then go to selected with data, click format. Okay. And then you just want to take out the upper and the left one right here, like that. Okay. And then we might want to use a bit of a blue. And then we have to click it again. But you know what? Yeah. And then the fill, okay, here's one that you have to pay attention. We want it to be that color, but the fill effect, we want it to be this one right here. This one. I'm pointing to this one. But for that, we want to match that color. And I believe I couldn't grab it. Which color was this? The second one on this right here. Okay, it's this one. So go to fill effect and right click here on the same one. Click OK. Click OK. Step back and click OK. And there we go. Look at that. Aha. And now click on that slicer too and switch it to be that one that we just customized. Now, the slicer doesn't have to be as prominent as the chart. The chart needs to be the main stage. So that's why I use light colors for the slicers. I don't want them to be too prominent. I want the chart to be important. So I play with color to emphasize what's important. And I'm sorry, I'm just going on autopilot there. I'm clicking on the slicers, and what I want to fix is the height of the buttons. So you fix it right here on height, and I'm always on 0.4 centimeters. And then click on this as well, and it's also the same on the other slicers. And now there you go. You have a dynamic chart. based on a mini model. Look, we went from something as a tiny table, but now with that tiny table, we can just say, do we want the first values, or do we want the last 14 values? Do we want the last 5 or the first 5? It's gonna depend on the question. And look, with the A stack, we did LED with variables. We did take, which is a new function, really new function. We did B stack with slicer and sequence. Yes, this is the modern Excel. You need to, yeah, you need to jump into it and take advantage. The Excel is just getting more powerful and more haters, and I love it. Yeah, more haters is good. They make Excel more popular. And that's it, Chris. But I mean, just trying to stay within the hour that we talked about. Else I can keep going. But the file that I will send you, because I thought maybe this one would take me half an hour, but the file that you will receive is this one with another example, which is that one that you saw, this one with a couple of the notes. And then 2 will be more of, how about 10,000 rows of data? Yes, let's do 10,000 rows of data. And how do we actually plot this dynamically? Say, you know what? Here's a scatter plot, here's a line chart, but you know what? Give me how was the stock price of this stock of ABC on 2005, and actually give me on June. I just want to see June data. Okay, so I'm zooming in. I'm zooming in with spill ranges with modern Excel. Okay, and here, first thing, there's unique. Okay, we get a unique of our companies. Then we throw this LED, which is gonna get crafty, but we need to do it because we get the unique dates, then date, then month, then year, and then drop, because the first arrow, the first row gives us a couple of arrows, value arrow. We drop it, then, well, actually A stack, combine it, then drop it, and then B stack again, so we can get a nice header, this header that you see here. And then we get this array here. Once we have that, then we plot our slicers. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, from this pivot table, you will receive this, but just in case, I just wanted to explain it. I thought I could cover it on this session, but it will take us another hour, and I wanna be respectful to the agreed time. And after have that, then basically it is then a take filter, okay, from the data based on the selection of the slicers. And then comes the last part, which just says, okay, filter what I'm taking within this range of data, within these dates, okay? And that's index with index, but if it's greater than P4, which is the minimum, defined by the pivot table slicers, and then the maximum defined by the pivot table slicers. So the pivot table slicers control the min-max, and that gives me my time range. So Excel can get fun. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay, I don't know what I did, but let's just close that one. So it wasn't safe. And this is what we did. Any questions? Any comments? Questions, please. If you need a psychologist, I can recommend you one if you didn't feel excited about this. Okay. You gotta have humor, man. Life is short,
I may need a psychologist or a psychiatrist. The grad is asking any list for those of us who are just learning about dynamic arrays.
Oh, what was the question again? Sorry, Chris.
Yes. Any leads for those who are of us who are just learning about dynamic arrays? Where can she go and learn about dynamic arrays? Do you have a course? Do you have a book? You're still waiting for your book or something?
I don't have a course, but I can recommend you this way. Okay. Let's do this. YouTube, and then Excel is fun, and then this one, and then dynamic arrays. Let's see. because I want to give you options, okay? And then Excel plus dynamic arrays, and where is her course? Her course is right here. Her course, same course, is right on Udemy. And then you have a playlist, which yes, right here. So playlist. So if you wanted something, so my foundation on array formulas have been with Mike, okay, from Excel, and he has a playlist of 164 videos of dynamic arrays, dynamic arrays. So yes, and free. That's his mission. Then Leila Garani has a course of, and I took it, and it's being impactful. That basically is about 8 hours long, and it will give you the foundations of dynamic arrays, just like the solid foundation of the logics of the spilling and all that. And her course on her website, I'm not really sure how much is it, but you can go and check here. I can see oh yeah, this is an article. This is not her course. Yeah, let's just put course. Just wanna, yeah. Master Excel functions right there. Yep, there you go. That's the course right there. So the new Excel functions, she's referring to dynamic arrays. And yep, she gives you a little bit of background. That's Leila, if you don't know her. And then, yep, you get the curriculum here, what you're about to learn. Get access now, right click and open tab. Let me see how it is, because I want to offer you another option. Her course is about $100 here, okay, $100 on her website. But the cool thing is that there's some sort of cost if you purchase it through her website. That, for example, I believe it is right here. Like whatever you buy on Excel Plus, it really helps out to organizations on her own causes. On her website, you can find this on About Leila Garani at the bottom. So, but if you're on a budget and all that, I understand. You can find the same course about dynamic arrays on Udemy. She still have it published. She hasn't still put this one away. And right now it's showing me in Peruvian currency, which is about maybe $40 or 50. But you could get it at the lowest price to be, actually, there you go. See, Udemy is like this. I don't understand how they're in business. But the same course of Leila, you can find it for $10, the least, maybe $11 nowadays. But I bought it for $10 at that time, and this was right at the pandemic in 2020. And I have a photo of her signing that certificate, because I told her that her course was, foundational. So those are the three options. And of course, if you want to go hardcore and a bit more masochist and say I want more, okay, then you can go to Excel, because he's gonna show you some insane stuff, okay, for the foundational here. But then for the more insane stuff is right here. And also Victor Momo, Victor Momo has also good videos. So you can go Victor Momo too, and on his YouTube channel he has some goodies. You just gotta go on Excel Moments video and click all this. And once you click all this, you start to see XLOOKUP, the wildcards, part of an array, which are foundations. Once you understand the foundations, then your creativity flourishes, because it just you make the connections while you go and start practicing with this. Yeah.
Okay. And then there was the shortcut that you are looking for. Somebody posted on the chat. It is Control Space, then Control Shift plus plus.
Okay,
To adding a column. You are struggling to add a column, yeah.
So let's just say name A B C D S S. Okay. XE. Yep. Put a table there. There we go. And then Control Space, and then
Control
Shift.
Then Control Shift plus plus.
Okay. Yes, it's just that it's still not giving me the column I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. But within the column structure, within the table structure, what I wanted is like, let's see if we can. There we go. See, it worked. It didn't work at the beginning. Maybe you know why it is, because I first added a row,
Yeah.
and then I added. Oh, it did work. See, I don't know, but it works. Like if you just gotta do this. You have to do Control Space again to highlight a whole column, and then Control plus, and it adds it to the left, you know. So yes. What other ones? Yeah.
Okay. Gladys has said, awesome, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad, Chris. Well, look, with a basic tiny table, look, we did B stack, we did take, we did, let with all those variables, and with a nice format for the formula that is readable. And then we did A stack to combine things, So yeah, my purpose was a mini model, and again, to my friend Nestor, which I'm really helpful, because that that metaphor and analogy, really, still lives today. As soon as I don't understand something with DAX or Power BI or DAX, because Power BI, just go to the mini model. Let's replicate the same problem within a small data set on a spreadsheet, and understand what's happening with filter context or row context and all that. So yeah, the analogy of metaphor is yeah. I don't know what happened again. I gotta find out why. I know why it's doing that. Yeah, I forgot to. Well, I'm glad this happened, because there's an option that you want to turn on when working with spill ranges, just in case, and just to protect yourself. Just click on File, and then go to Options, go to Advanced, and then scroll down a bit. And here, scroll down a bit more. Here under Charts, okay? You want, oh, it was already turned off. I thought it was turned on. Now I have to double check. But you want to, either way, you want to turn this off. Usually it's turned on current workbook, but you want to turn it off, okay? Just because sometimes, depending on how complex your chart is, it can break the chart down because of the spill ranges. So sometimes, but this is more for the advanced stuff. But either way, just know that it exists, and that yeah, you want to turn it off when the time, if the case, if it needs to be.
Okay. I think the people are demanding for another session. I don't know what you say.
Yes, no. We can. I mean, Crystal, you let me know a date, and if people want to see the other example, the other example is this, Oh, I did mention on the presentation that let me show you one real quick. When things are not, well, this is a good one. I mean, K neighbors. For example, this one right here, explaining it, we can go into, it can get very complex. I don't want to bore you there, but basically is that we want to predict a category, and we want to predict, what would it be tested, and if it's that dot is closest to is adjacent dots, then based on that, it makes the prediction. Hopefully I explained it well. But these plots right here, they have arrays that are non-adjacent. So that's why they're individually placed. So for example, here, I think, where's that pointing to? Yeah, I forgot where. But see, let me just maybe step back on this so you can see the whole work in order to produce it, So we go by calculations, we have the data, and then we make some calculations in between. Then we pull some calculations, then we recalculate, then on more operations, and then the charts. So as you can see, we plot a couple of the charts, but we don't plot Yeah, we see I'm clicking on the dots there. It's very tiny, sorry. And then I click on the other charts here. As you can see there, I just click on these charts, but then look, it's right here to this array. And before, when I click on other arrays, it was pointing to this one, I believe. No, so because of that, because they're not non-adjacent, because they are non-adjacent, then it's better to reference them individually and then plot them individually as well. And that protects you a lot because you need to add columns in between. It doesn't shift the arrays of your series, which is right now happening. I never noticed that. I don't know if this is being a known bug, but I never came across it because as soon as I get the arrays, I define name and then plot them.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it. No more talking.
Okay. This Mr. Joshi is asking, do you have courses or charts of your own? Have you recorded any course or chart?
Of charts that I have made?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
so this is my website.
Okay.
This is my website, Spill Graphics, which maybe I can put here on the chat, Crispo. Can I? Or
yes. Or you can send it to me. I'll send it together with the workbook.
Okay. Oh, I just sent it. Okay. No worries.
Okay,
but there,
okay.
And all these charts that you see are made with the spill ranges with dynamic arrays. And if you want to download the workbooks of all of these, well, you can download any of these 6. Click on more examples, and actually, this is not my website. This is my blog, which makes a website more informal, and then you can download any of these examples, whichever interests you. I got about 52 so far, and there's like a couple of other ones that I still have to finish them because, because they're already the skeleton models of them is already in place, but I just need to enhance it with, just with the colors, the lines, and all these aesthetics that that matter. So you can download all of them, and and I did mention about aesthetics and the economists and the practice and all that. Other people make, the pros make. Go to blog, okay, and then go to a series of posts that I kind of say, let's just make it maybe a dedicated section, enhancing the defaults, the one in blue. And then I show, how to convert the dots to be cross markers, and what difference does it make, how we break one line into 2 to sort of do a great storytelling. But if you go to the one in number 7, I can't believe that became a Pandora box for me. I mean, a Pandora box, yeah, because as soon as I just wanted to teach what the relevance of a reference line, just to do a basic chart, does it make any difference? Yes, it allows to put numbers into context. If you click learn more, I'll teach you how to do this in Excel with the video underneath. Yep. But then I go and say, and now below this are real examples of charts with contextual reference line. And you can start to see one from the Financial Times. And here we see the reference line. And then we see a basic chart, look at a column chart, but because of this line, it tells me things that, okay, the middle is 35 years old, but then look at to the right, look at to the left. Yes, look at the annotations, look at the grid lines, they're light gray. Look at the axis, the source. So many details on all of these charts that you will find. Not done might be, not I didn't make them, but you can learn a lot about data graphics and about the aesthetics that goes into the functional aesthetics, really, that go into this. Look at this one, for example, a reference line, and then it tells me which countries, and then we can say Russia, or not which country, but forgot about this one, the context. But let me just step back and say, look, that line divides one section of countries, which is this one. Again, everything else that is under the reference lines. So a reference line, just a basic line, put things into context. So beautiful. I was amazed that I never noticed the kind of infinite ways that reference. Look, I'm doing reference line with dot plot, and now I'm doing it with a ridge line, or maybe I forgot, this is called a mountain plot with different, distributions, or maybe with an arrow chart with timelines, or maybe with a line chart. Look at that, with even the trends in between. Just shows me 2 dates, but then where is it? How is it trending? With just one slope or couple of slopes. A trend line with areas on top and underneath. A trend line with column charts. It needs just a line. It's beautiful. And look at this one with I forgot the name of this plot. Seaworm, or no, I forgot the name. Here with the more so here you're gonna like, yeah, brace yourself. I have collected all these examples, and then I noticed, oh my God, look at the reference line here as an average. The reference lines as sort of the something happening, right there on DC, and then Florida, sorry, and then New York. Yes, this is from the Financial Times. So there you go. I'm just gonna copy this link and I'll put it here so you can enjoy. I mean, it is really, really. I don't know how many graphics are here. I think I counted with my Excel file about 300. I think. Yes, and I still have more to add. I think I have 5 more to add that I just came across this week, and I'll add them at the. Oh, look at that beautiful band chart, with lines. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of graphics, and that's it for me, Crispo. Yeah.
No, you can continue. So I think I don't see another question. The question that I had is how important is good data for making excellent charts? Because I read somewhere there's this Excel MVP, John. He's saying that
Yes.
before you even get into visualization, you should master the data first.
Amen. Amen. And let me bring that article right now, and because his blog is a bit is very textual, but I have it. I reposted on LinkedIn, and let me
Yes.
repost the article and paste it here on the chat and bring it here. Let me just. I have it right here. It's kind of recent. Yes, that's good. That's also a good foundation for how the data needs to be in order to be plotted. And
Yes.
usually it's column wise, okay? It's column wise. It's over here. It's over here. I have it right here. I have it over here. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. Right here. And then copy the link. And this is the link that Crisport is referring to. This is a must read. Yes, it is a must read. Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You have to read this whole thing. It could be his own book, really. Like it will tell you how data, and very basic. It's very accessible to read. Nothing too complex. No fancy words. Nothing. Just tell you, hey, look, if you were to plot the data, it needs to be organized or needs to be put like this. And he talks about that, and it's a long article. Read it by chunks, by block. But once you have this, okay, do keep in mind you may not remember everything, but do remember that it exists, and that maybe where you are here, and let me paste it. Do remember that it exists, and that you can go back to it and read it to understand some of the logics. As you can see here, he's putting. You can see, look, he's putting the alpha as a column, beta as a column, and gamma as a column. What did I do on mine? Well, for example, I did the years are going down. Okay. Yes, like this is going down. And then the values that I'm plotting are also going down. Oh, are going down. And then the last array, the markers, is also going down that way. So, but that logic or that foundation or that understanding, it could be highly appreciated and highly solidified with an article like this. And that's what's funny. It's like John has been blogging for years, maybe more than maybe 20 years. I'm not sure. And he published this on 2021. This should have been one of the first articles. In any case, really, it should have been one of the first articles on his blog. Yeah. So good one, Chris. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought because people tend to rush into creating charts without first of all looking into the data that they are charting. So I thought even when I teach about charts and graphs, I think the first thing that I teach people is you need to get good data, because irrespective if you have crappy data, you are going, no matter how good you are in visualization, you are going to get a crappy visualization.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And usually sometimes I can say that usually it's going down,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to chart a pivoted data, well, you can, but next the next that's afterlife, because it is possible. I'm still mind blown. Just to so maybe excite you, this is what I learned actually not this example, but the core diagram. Wow, I'm still, it's usually one column that you plot, one data series. Okay, to my knowledge, until last year, to be honest, until last year, I'll be I'll be honest about it. But then when I translated Roberto Mensa's work to the core diagram to dynamic arrays, I noticed that in order to get these bands, how did he get this? Like, how do you get these bands like this to be defined? Well, you can plot spill ranges that has many columns. I'm still grasping the logic, to be honest. That's why I call it afterlife, because I think I'm first gonna die, and then the next life I'll learn it. Be able to learn it. But yes, I mean, these are let's go see the big picture, just to see how crafty this one got. Like, look at that. In order to plot the core diagram, yeah. Look, yeah, I don't know why the core diagram is not showing now, but yeah. Oh, there we go. So yeah, you can see all these calculations all the way up to the core diagram. But on the core diagram, if we see the calculations that are actually being plotted, and let me zoom in, I just wanted to show you the big picture. And go right here. This is one of them, for example, right here. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, for example, either this one or this one. There we go. So here we're plotting this whole chunk. Yes, we're plotting all this into a scatter plot, and that's possible. That's possible. I thought it was impossible. I thought, no, that's not possible. But then I translated this work. I volunteered to self-torture myself, and then I come out better. But I was like, what? Like, you can bring a whole multi-column array into a chart? Yes. The only trick is that you have to trick Excel with this double minus sign. Yes. Once you put that, you trick Excel into making Excel do it anyways. Yeah. But I'm still grasping the logic. I'm not fully confident. How does it work? I think John Peltier talked about it in one of his recent posts, just a little bit. Not didn't go too deep, but yeah. It is possible. It is possible. But first, let's baby step. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. First, start with this article, and then afterlife. Then multi-column.
Okay. I don't know whether there's any other question. Okay. The other thing is the discussion that you had with Nick. Was it on Wednesday about the idea that you want to bring into it's not just chatting, it's asking yourself what idea do you want to bring or to elicit in the minds of the people who are going to read your data. So I thought that
Yes.
that was mind blowing. I've never thought of that. I've always thought of the chat type as the most important thing. But again, it's not the chart type. According to Nick, is what idea do you want to table across?
Exactly. And that's why there's an excellent book here. actually right here. Maybe you cannot see it, but I'll bring it on the screen here. I have it. There's like it's called the universal principle of design. Okay, let's just maybe open over here and let's just bring it universal principles of design. And to complement what Crispot is saying, this book is beautiful. You need to get it. I mean, this is, and there's a new version, which is this one, which is 200. This one has 100, and I have both of them. I have both of them, but get the new one. You get 200. Look at that frog. That's an awesome frog. And there's a page there that says form follows function. That the form follows its purpose. Very minimalist phrase. But if once you put it into context, then the chart needs to follow the objective, the purpose that is needs to comply with, or needs to satisfy, or it needs to address, And once you have that, then things get way easier. Yet when we started data visualization, we started a bit complicated. We started, I want to show the data in this fancy way, and this and that. But then at the end of the day, it's like, no. It's like, I have a question, I have an inquiry, I have a need, and then there are the different chart types that can answer that, and some of them does in a better way, and the other ones does in a more less proper way. So yeah, it was a good talk, Chris. But yeah, it's a good talk. That book of Nick, you should also get it. You should also get it. Practical charts, really also good, because I think he shows you this foundation about purpose, about really, and the charts that goes to the business managers, that go to the decision makers. They're not. They don't want like the fancy looking ones. No, they just want a bar chart or a line chart. And then, but even as simple as just choosing which type, there's still something underlined that it says, what are we doing it for? And it's like with life, sometimes we don't know, what do we want to do in life, so yeah, it's like that, it gets complex like that, so yeah.
Okay, I think I have to ask you the last question. We are 30 minutes into the overtime. For somebody who is just starting, what's your story? What can you encourage them? Where did you start? Up to where you are at? If somebody wants to follow you, your steps. Yes.
I would say that my experience was they throw me into the ocean, and find out how you get out, because because before it was it was array formulas, which already they have their own thing, and then they asked me, can you show some charts? And then I did the classical Excel charts that we all do, like let's just put here Excel charts, and then I went with these charts to the meeting, and then they asked me, hey, can you sort it? Can you sort it greatest to least, or can you sort it least to lowest? And then can you sort it maybe alphabetically? I just want to find somebody, the letter S, it starts with the S. And because of all dynamics, it really led me to say, oh, wow, I need to have something ready to make those switches. And this was 10 years ago. And that was my story. That's why I appreciate interactive charts, because you can address something in the momentum into there in the board meeting, it just crushes you when you are, and I can tell you this from real experience, you're in a nice PowerPoint and a nice slide, and you show the data, you show the chart, and the person goes and says, hey, show me the numbers, can we just maybe switch this, or how about this? And how about if we switch the value of this bar? It just crushes you, because you just prepare a nice presentation, a nice slide to later arrive to Excel. And in Excel, you still don't have it dynamically, it's still static. So yeah, this way, in Excel, you have the flexibility to make it dynamic and have it already dynamic. And then once you bring it to PowerPoint, Then PowerPoint is more of explaining and communicating. But just in case if things get dynamic, you have a backup. You have the Excel. That's a tip right there I wanted to share. Now, learning wise, I actually learned from another course from Leila. Basically, in parallel to many other sources, to Chandu, to back in when Chandu used to plot. I mean, Chandu.org. That's one place I learned. But then again, I don't want to I don't want to overwhelm you with so many courses or so many places, because really it could be a sea of places. I learned from Chandu. I think has from the competition of dashboards. I kind of learned what they were doing, how were they thinking, making things dynamic. From John Peltier, of course. John Peltier is a library, of blogs and concepts that you learn about, and you have to read and practice. Read and practice, read and practice, read and practice, and get into that habit, because my practice was my real data and my own problems that I needed to solve at that time. And then I made it a hobby to go into these blogs, Chandu's and John, take Leila's course that she still has available here on Udemy, which is this one right here. This is the first. I didn't know it was her first course. Excel charts, visualization secrets. I took it. It's 8 hours, as you can see, 8.5 hours. And it just opened my mind. It's just, oh, wow, you can do this and that, and you can do this trick, and we can trick Excel. And then, of course, one book that also helped me to sort of trick Excel was, or to have that mindset, to think about was this book right here. There you go. Get real at data analysis. Os du Soleil's book, first book, I think, if I'm not mistaken, second edition, though, because Bill Jelen wrote the first edition, and then Oz has written the third edition. I would recommend you to get both, because there's some things here that will not show up here. So actually get both. But there's a concept there that says how to trick Excel into doing it anyways. Wow. When I read that, I took it home. It was like, I probably will tattoo that on my forearm. So yeah, and then YouTube. There's so many YouTube videos. Like Victor Momo shows he doesn't show too many charts, but he showed me one that was take, and I was like, oh, that could work with the stack chart. But like I can say, maybe you wanna. There's so many. There's one that I've been following lately, Karina Adcock. That's her channel, Karina Adcock, and she's been doing many videos, and cool videos, cool, interesting stuff. He's doing Python, Excel, summing by color, geometric mean regression with charts. You look at this one, the Nobel Prize chart in Excel. So, even for me, I know many of the stuff, but there's always like a tiny thing that said, yeah, these 11 minutes were worth my time. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube, and courses too. Maybe I can pull up a list, but it will be such a long list of sources that Leila just came out with a new course that you can maybe take advantage of. If I'm not kidding, it's right here, Business Charts for Excel, and I already took it. I'm already taking it, and I can say that I'm already learning things that I didn't know. For example, I just mentioned it. If you double click on a chart element, double click, and it shows up. No Control 1. Before it was click on the chart element, then Control 1. That's 2 steps. But now double click and it shows up. So, and this is with any chart element. You can click on the grid lines, and there you go. So that was a long answer. Sorry, Crispo, and sorry for the person that answered the question.
Okay, I think time is far much gone. I know we can do this for hours. I think we have done this kind of conversation for hours. But to respect the people who have joined the webinar, I think we have to end it here, and then we'll plan for the next session.
Yes, Crispus. Again, I can start talking, but there's so many examples that you can download from my website, Spill
Yeah.
Graphics.
Yeah.
And where do I have it? Maybe I'm not sure where I put it, but not there or here. There you go. So you can download many of these examples, and please, you can dissect them, break them. Doesn't matter. Just I left it in a way that there's steps, like how to understand how everything is built. So if you follow the steps, then I hope it shows you, how everything was put together. And I put everything in one page, in one worksheet, so you can see the chart and the calculations at the same time. Sometimes other folks, the best practice is to have things separated: data on one sheet, chart in one sheet, and calculations in another sheet. That would be the proper and pro consulting way. But for me, it was more an education. I need to show you front end and back end at the same time, so you can understand where this, or how is this chart being plotted. The same way I did, and we go back to our talk, or the presentation. And thank you, Crispo, for the opportunity. As you can see the chart, and it's this array, and this array is coming from this, and then this is coming from this. So yeah, Spill Graphics. There you go. That's the website. A lot of examples. Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos. I think I have to let you go now. I'm sorry, but I have to let you go.
No. Yeah.
I know you
Yeah.
are preparing for another webinar. Is it still today or tomorrow?
Okay. Oh, what was that again? Sorry, I
No,
got cut off.
the webinar that you are doing this weekend, is it today or tomorrow?
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is on. Let me show you. So for folks that wants to see another session from another angle about the topic, right here, if I believe so. Daniel, let me see. Just pulling out the event. Thank you for allowing me to mention this. So here we go. And yes, coming up on Wednesday at 7 p.m. my time. Yep, 7 p.m. my time. And I am on per Pacific time, okay? But I'm assuming if I talk 8 a.m. and it was 4 p.m. your time, we're talking about 8 hours. So yeah, it's kind of late for you. For you,
Yeah.
it will be like around 3 a.m., right? Something like that. Yeah. So that's late. But for Australia, it's the next day, 10 a.m. So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. But I'll be talking about a comparison. A sort of a bit of this for the people who are fans. WWF, Oh no, but wait, WWF cage, Yeah, like that, You put the cage and nobody can escape. It's gonna be static charts versus dynamic charts, And so yeah, it's gonna be it's different, because I just want to say, yeah, statics for this, but dynamic in case of, and all that. So yeah. Oh, let me just put the event. Yeah. Not the WWF yet.
I think thank you for honoring this session. Thank you for the presentation, and looking forward to the next presentation.
Yes, thank you, Chris. But yeah, let me know. We can put another day, another hour, because
Yeah.
it takes time. I mean, it takes time. And just want to close up saying that even when I made all these examples, it is hard for me to make it within 1 hour. I have tried. There's two of them that I have made the video. Just in case is number 49, 46, and 45. You can see that it says learn more. Okay, example 45 and 46. And I show how to do from scratch. Well, actually, yes, from scratch. It's just that, like, I think it's like 1 hour and 45 minutes, So I just know that the audience is very minimal. I wish I could make it in 10 minutes or 30, but as I am explaining them, I'm also saying the logic behind it, so people can really take home the logic, and then maybe potentially they can apply the logic to other scenarios.
True.
So that's why I go lengthy a bit. Yeah.
Oh.
Bye bye everyone.
Yeah,
Take care.
yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.